My husband had a threesome with my best friend and his girl best friend. I got so angry I hooked up with his boss, and now I regret it. My brother had to have surgery and I wanted to be there for him, so I ended up staying about 2 weeks. I always knew my best friend had a thing for my husband. She admitted it multiple times, but I would just laugh it off because surely my married best friend won't fuck my husband, right? I didn't even catch them. My husband's girl best friend is just that insane that she casually admitted it to me as I was cleaning the kitchen when I got back. I thought she was kidding. No, she wasn't. I asked my best friend if this was true over a phone call, and she denied it at first, then broke down sobbing and admitted to it. I was so angry I threw all of my husband's shit into a big suitcase and tossed it out on the front lawn. I locked the doors and piled a bunch of shit in front of them, like the couch and end table and etc., so the dumb fuck couldn't get in. Of course, when he got home from work and couldn't get in, he started panicking. He banged on the door and shouted for me to let him in. I stayed upstairs with our dog and let him tire himself out. Eventually he left, and from what I know, he stayed the night at his girl best friend's shitty apartment. They probably fucked too, all while he was crying over me. Dumbass. After a few weeks of him blowing up my phone and pleading with me, I finally let him come home and we talked. He was sobbing and apologized to me. He said he was a sex addict and he needed help. I told him I want him to go to therapy as well as us to go to couples counseling. He agreed to it without any fight. He slept on the couch while I slept in our bedroom. My best friend hadn't even made any moves to contact me or apologize, being the homewrecker that she is. My husband ended up having some sort of work dinner party a week or so later that he needed to attend, and invited me. This is the first time he's ever invited me to anything like this. Pretty sure it's because none of his female coworkers know he's married. Or I'm assuming that's the case because of how shocked they all seemed to meet me. At the dinner, his boss, male 50s, was chatting with me. Newly divorced, and I asked him how it was and made sure to ask loud enough for my husband to hear. We ended up chatting all night, and my husband ended up scurrying off from the dinner table, told me he was going to go home, and told me to get an Uber home, clearly pissed off at me. Needless to say, his boss was shocked how he treated me, and I couldn't help but play up the sad, lonely wife bit. It ultimately ended up with us going back to his house and hooking up. When I woke up in the morning, I did end up Ubering home. Since then, his boss has sent flowers to our home, called me a few times, and my husband is completely aware of this, and now the regret is starting to sink in. The guilt and worry has started to eat away at me. The revenge felt nice, but now it's clear it's eating at the both of us. I'm going to find a lawyer and start the process soon. I just needed to tell someone that isn't family because I don't even know the first details about this. Edit. Forgot to add that when we had our first therapy appointment, he never showed. He was going to head there after visiting his sister, who lives a few miles from us. I sat and waited in that office for over an hour before I went home, and just saw his ass sitting on the couch, texting on his phone. He knew we had an appointment that day because I texted him multiple times about it. He had no intentions whatsoever to fix this, give me closure, or start fixing his sex addiction. Update. It's been a wild few weeks. We started the divorce process. Soon-to-be ex moved out, reluctantly may I add. He moved in with his girl best friend, now fiance actually, and they're expecting. It's his, I think. Girl best friend's parents found out what she did, and let's say it's not going well. I told my best friend's husband everything. He didn't believe me at first until I started showing him all of the texts, photos, and etc. He just broke down. He kicked her out and she showed up with her shit thinking I'd let her move in. Long story short, I had to call the cops to get her off my property. I haven't kept in contact with the boss, honestly. He bought me a few gifts and I politely told him no. He was pretty nice about being rejected and told me it was worth a shot. I only found out shortly after I made the post. My Reddit post was blasted all over TikTok and my sister actually sent it to me, thinking about how wild it was, and I had to come clean to her. I have found out many things since the process began. My husband was the cigarette of his office, being passed around by all of his female coworkers. Do you know how many apologies I've received? I'll be set on a lifetime of apologies. But seriously, why does an office have that much sex? Once the divorce is finalized, I'm selling the house and moving into something smaller. I hate big houses. I've always liked small spaces. I found a cute apartment that's a 1-bed, 1-bath. It'd be perfect for me and my dog. I know the divorce is going to become nasty, especially with his girl best friend being his fiance now. We already had to get a forensic accountant involved since he accused me of stealing his money and wiring most of it into my bank account. That was weird. Other than that, I'm doing good. I actually feel relieved, and I'm going to start doing things I love doing. I'm going to get back into my book club. I'm going to start exercising how I used to. I still exercise but stopped doing it so much because he hated girls with abs. I'm gonna be me again. I hope he becomes him again and finds happiness. Truly.